fantastic
Lady Elizabeth.
Lady Elizabeth.
Autumn McReynolds Groves.
There you go. Okay.
Actually, I changed my Facebook to just Elizabeth Groves.
I know. I noticed that. And tell all the listeners why.
Well, I had
What happened today?
Huh?
What happened today?
Oh, I got my my new Social Security card in today. So yay!
And what's your new Social Security card?
It's Elizabeth Autumn McReynolds.
Okay, so that's the name that we go by. So it doesn't matter what I paid for. It matters what the government says. So that's who you are.
Yeah, whenever I was reading my dad's eulogy, I saw my name in print as Elizabeth McReynolds Groves. So I don't know. I saw it for the first time, and I was getting ready to change the name order that I had anyway to take the lady title off, and I was like, I'll just go ahead and put that because it looked good.
Because it looked good, that's it. Oh, it looked good. I'll just go ahead.
It's going to be that soon anyway.
It is, yes. And just to clarify, you before your Social Security and all your documents, everything, your legal name was what?
James Douglas McReynolds.
And that is also, or was, your father's name, not Douglas, but James, right?
Correct.
And so he was called Jim, and you were little Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
And when we went to the funeral, there was all the stuff that said little Jimmy. Right?
Yeah.
So all the stories and all that crap. And the pictures, there were pictures of you back then, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how'd that make you feel? I'm messing with
crap.
I
was indifferent to the pictures, really. I was just more thinking about my dad than myself.
Right, but people had asked you. That's where I was going with that. Yeah. Your stepmom asked you if it was okay, right?
Yeah, she said that when she was doing the eulogy, that it was the obituary that I was reading at one time, but when she was doing the eulogy, that there was some stories with little Jimmy, and that's just because that, and I was like, that's fine because I was little Jimmy at that time, so you can definitely refer to me as little Jimmy. It's fine. And so that's kind of how that went.
And did it feel any less hurtful? Because it used to be pretty hurtful to you.
I guess it depends on who's saying it and why. And in this context, it had no effect on me. That was just me.
So, for anyone who's just listening, we went back to Texas because Beth's dad passed away. And so we had to go to the funeral. And there was a real hard realization and when we got there. And I will say that the person who gave me that realization was Little Bobby Streets. That's his name now, Little Bobby Streets. So I was talking about your dad being named James and your old name being James. Mm-hmm. And your family has a tradition of having a little and a big everything.
Yeah,
it's really strange to me. Yeah, there's little Mary, right? Mm-hmm. There was little Jimmy, mm-hmm. and little Bobby, mm-hmm. or little Robert, right? So it's interesting to me because my family has a weird thing of using everybody's middle name. So it's neat that you have, different kind of weird traditions, right? So we had not seen these people since your grandfather's funeral, Quentin.
Yeah, some of them, yes, definitely.
And one of those was little Bobby Streets, who was at that time like 9. And he's like 29 now. And so when I locked eyes on him, I could see the 9-year-old. Like, I recognized the face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I recognized his face, but I had no clue who he was. Now, so it was in talking to him, actually it was talking to his dad, that it occurred to me that I had transitioned and that I was trans and that this is the first time a lot of people were seeing me like this, right?
Yeah.
And the same for you. But I didn't think about it up to that point. I was just going on autopilot and just going in, and I wasn't nervous at all. But you were a little bit. Like going into it. But of course you were there for your dad, and that's why we were there. So it wasn't priority.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a thought, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I didn't know, how some family members would react, but just I knew that I had to go do this thing, and so it didn't really matter how they reacted. So, but everybody was really cool.
Well, of course they were.
But if it weren't for a funeral, it would have been a good time.
Yeah, and the realization that hit me pretty hard was when I was asked if I was nervous about being there. Or even going, and that's when it occurred to me, oh shit, I'm a transsexual in Texas.
I forget myself.
And
like, oh yeah,
and it's because it's not. I don't know. I don't think about it. I mean, I don't want to speak for you. Do you think about it like on a regular basis?
Not unless I see myself in the mirror.
And I always on Friday I get to meet with Toby, my client, who's a trans man. So, and I say man now because he's 18.
Mm-hmm.
Freaky that I've known him long enough to see him become an adult. And that's amazing. So, he has transitioned, and each time I get to see him, I get to see the actual change, right? Like I get to hear the voice change, I get to see the hair, I get to see all that. Hey, by the way, Carol's here. You're not going to get out of it. Anyway, so I get to see all these little subtle changes, right? And the drastic ones come when I don't see him for a couple weeks, and then I see him. And then his voice is like super deep or something like that. It's cool to see that, but I can't imagine if I had seen him, when he was young, and then see him now, or see him pre-transition and see him now. I don't know how that would construct in my head, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would misgender or not. I don't know if I would do any of that because I've just always known Toby as Toby, right? So I don't recognize my old name when someone calls it. When they say Brandy, because that was my name, I don't recognize it. I don't recognize she, but there was a time period that I was still adjusting to it.
Yeah.
And there was for you too.
Mm-hmm.
So when they're talking about you, do you acknowledge it as a story about you, or do you make it about the character that was before you?
Well, it's really one and the same. So
Is it?
Basically, I mean, I was there for it.
Right, but you weren't, though,
and
at the same time.
Well, I think, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, the stories that they told is like, I think they were like when I was really young and don't remember anyway.
So it doesn't, you have no like real connection to it then?
Not really, except for just hearing them talk about it.
So now we're going to talk about the funny parts of this, right? So we were both very accepted, and I'm pretty fabulous on my own, and all was well with the actual service. It was a good service.
Yes, it was.
And
very nice.
And the weather was really good, and we went out, and had the burial, and you had to salute during taps, and I noticed that, it was harder for you then than it had been. It was harder for everyone.
Yeah.
And what made it so emotional for you, so we can have understanding? Just that part in particular, saluting during taps.
Oh, it's not so much saluting as why.
Right. And
So
that's what I'm saying. So people who have no idea of what it was to be in the military, or what it is to be burying their family.
Whenever a soldier's laid to rest, all family members, service members,
Right.
that we're connected will render salute to the fallen soldier. And Dad was a retired vet, and so he's treated the same way. And so whenever he was getting ready to be buried, that's the last thing that happens.
Right. And then Ellen's presented with the flag, right?
Yes.
And so from my perspective, what was so striking was that here was your dad, and here was the whole front row saluting him. And I thought that was good.
Yeah.
And I know it was tough for you, but we got through it, and we got home only to find out that Carol did not burn the house down while we were gone.
Dang it.
I know, because we were thinking,
That
well,
could have been
she'll get everybody out, and then we'll have all new stuff like in the movies. We really thought it'd be Dad, but whatever. So Dad did not burn the house down, and you didn't. So we're thankful, and I think everybody's a little bit smarter. Like the big kids know what not to push with you, right? Yeah. And it was great that you were here to help us through all this.
Yes.
I was happy to be here.
And I was thankful to have the opportunity to be with Beth, because my clients, of course understand. And so we had a very quick trip, and we got to have some good Texas food, and we got to see everybody, and you got to grow a little bit more, right? We all did.
Yeah, it was tough.
But you've done it.
Yeah.
It was pretty spectacular. So now that we're home, and Carol is good, and the kids are good, and you got your Social Security card today, you have a new project.
Yeah, I got to start on all my military paperwork.
And right, and so we've been kind of waiting for that to happen, because that is going to unite James with Elizabeth, right?
Yeah.
And that's what needs to happen, because you were that soldier, and you deserve that recognition as who you are.
I also need to get new bank cards.
Yeah, like all that good crap that I had to do, and for some reason my old name is still on my card through USA, so whatever. Could be interesting to see if we can get that done.
Yeah.
So everything else that's going on, my 13-year-old soon is having his trampoline party from 2 years ago. And I'm actually pretty excited about that, because he deserves it,
He does.
And
he's kind of gotten to go twice, which he deserves that.
Yeah, totally. And today we had my brother here for a couple hours with his wife and 2 kids, and Jackson, my brother's son, his stepson, he is 14, and he's double the size of Lucas. Easily double, right? He's like grown man.
Yeah. He was like 18.
Yeah.
Oh.
He was as big as Lara's. She's 19. So it's like, holy crap. It put into perspective how tiny we really are. So aren't you glad to be in a house of tiny folk?
Yes. Makes me feel tall at 5'4", 5'3.5".
I am going to make a request of my clients and the people that watch us and all that. I need y'all to give some Google reviews. And what makes me equate that with being tiny is I sometimes, when I think about height, I think about those little star charts, that we used to have for our kids. And those little stars that, you mark how tall they are with like these little stars, right? And so in my mind, those little stars are like the review stars on Google. So every time I think about height, I think about a rating scale. So it's just funny to me. So I need y'all to talk about us a little bit, and talk about our relationship. Not Beth and I, but me and you as a family member of Sacred Groves. And if you enjoy the conversations, y'all need to comment. You need to talk about it, and let us know. I know you have to log in to comment, right, Carol?
Yes.
So y'all can do that. You can make a page, or not make a page, make a profile. God, I don't tech. You see this? Forgive me. Oh, and I just realized I'm still wearing my prayer beads that I wear during session. I was so unprepared because I was chilling with Toby and Andy right before this podcast.
Uh-huh.
Do you and Carol hate it whenever I'm past time?
Sometimes, but this time I was playing a game with Lucas, and then I was breaking down some hamburger meat, so I was occupied.
Hamburger meat, yeah, scroped. I can't handle it.
Doesn't bother me. I know.
Yeah.
I know what you're doing is super important. It doesn't bother me when you're over.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that's just y'all's way of saying do what you want because you're going to anyway.
And
I'm just
that,
teasing.
He can
I
only
really.
handle you
Did
in
you see
small-
how long
he can
I kept
only
that
handle you in
face?
small portions, and we're happy to have other people handle you for some extra time. I mean,
Oh
let's
my
be
God!
honest.
Well, bless Lori's heart.
Yes, thank you. Lord.
Because she's really the one that has to deal with me the most, because she energizes me in a way that some people don't, and that means that she comes in full of what I call piss and vinegar. It's that fantastic. You're gonna get into some shit when you're around them, like Joe. But she is my client, so she's equivalent to like Joe. She's my female Joe. And so I always have fun, when she's here, even whenever it's hard. You know what I mean? And there I go again. That's what's really cool about my job. And so y'all know I get lost in that fun sometimes. And y'all love me for it.
Absolutely.
Aww. So I'm wearing a purple scarf. You see that?
I
Do
see
you
it.
remember where I got this?
No, I don't.
This
You'll tell
was-
me, and then I'll be like, oh yeah.
Yeah, this was Aunt Timmy's. You probably wouldn't remember. But this came from my Aunt Timmy. Now, I love it because it's purple and it's paisley. And we ordered you a phone case where we were going to that was purple paisley. We ended up ordering you the cat one.
Yeah.
Now, something weird is going on in this house. And let me explain it this way. Darling Carol, before she got here, was an avid dog lover and an anti-feline, right? Okay, so we're talking like my level. Okay, cats are super annoying. I can look at them, but GTFO. And she now has pictures of the cat on her phone and stories to tell about the cat, like she's an 80-year-old man talking about the cat hopping in his lap while he's eating breakfast. So that's now you, just so you know.
That's not true.
Okay, so I can see how without some intervention you could turn into a cat lady.
I would never.
Now, you say that, but I'm telling you there's too many red flags right now. So, the latest story was that you got up from your seat in the bed and Fat Belly decided it was hers.
She did claim my seat.
And she has no shame.
It's not my fault that she breaks in at night to sleep.
Okay, in the way she actually breaks in is through my office. So I'm in here sleeping and she breaks through and goes into the bedroom and then does not shut the door behind her. So she is not courteous enough. I don't think she's a cat. I think she's an alien. I think that she's an alien that somehow has managed to turn you into this evil person that you are. Oh, speaking of evil, as I drink out of my skull mug. Yes, right. So this was from Roy when Roy went with, help me here, Robert and a Jacob, I think. Because there's always a Jacob, right?
We were asking the question.
Okay,
but
so in a Jacob, I think they went to the Bass Pro Shop, the big giant one.
Yeah.
And
in Memphis, I think.
was it?
Yeah, it was the
I
big,
have no idea
big
where it
pyramid
was.
one.
Oh my God! I wish you hadn't told me that, because now I'm freaked out that they went to Memphis
They
like
did.
without me. I know. I'm just like, wait a minute. Was what? I don't remember it being quite like that, but okay. I'm sure it was. Twas. I'm sure twas. Yes, of course. Always making fun of how I talk. It doesn't matter what I say. So.
The 80-year-old woman cats.
Oh my God. Okay.
Sure it was.
Okay, so you know, it's one thing when you make a habit out of the word. It's another thing when you just can't say shit. So how about we stop cracking on this disability that I have? How about that? It's called being a Texan. Screw you. How about that? That must be what it is. Beth, did you notice when we went back to Texas that it was like seriously twangy? Did you notice how twangy Texas was? Your family has a twang that I didn't notice before. So
No,
that means I might be getting out of it.
For me, it's...
Okay, Carol says no. She actually said hell no.
You know, it's like hearing the cicadas. You know, they're there, but you don't. After a while, you don't hear them anymore. So I don't really. I hear their voices and I hear their accents, but it doesn't register anymore as this or that. It's just them.
Well, it lets me know that my dialect, my accent might be shifting a little Midwestern. I am hopeful because I've always had that Southern thing. And I try. I know y'all don't even know this. I actually try to speak neutral. And it never translates. I have yet to hear anyone go, where are you from? They all know that it's somewhere in the South. They all say, which Southern state are you from? And you know that they're Southern when they can very quickly identify, right? So we have like this team of Texans. You hear one and you're like, oh, wow, they're from Austin, or oh, they're from Lubbock. You know which part they're from. Like my brother who was here.
Yep.
I can tell that they're from the Panhandle because they talk like me, right? And so anybody who talks Southern but not like me is not from the Panhandle. And that's all I know. But your family has its own sort of thing because you have some from Houston, some from Dallas, Fort Worth.
Mm-hmm.
Where are the other people from? Hell, where do you live, little Bobby Streets?
I think they live in Euless.
Euless?
Yeah, everybody lives in the Dallas Fort Worth area, or they live in the Houston area. To include Galveston.
Don't vape. Okay.
Hair in my mouth.
So, wow, alright. Well, I didn't know that. I'm trying to think about who all we saw. And we have a lot of new friend requests. So I know that a lot of those are the family. What else was going on? We stayed in a fantastic hotel. Oh, I am not going to mention the name because I ain't that shady. I ain't that shady because you can read reviews and figure it out yourself. And that brings to point, if I request reviews, I have to give reviews. So I'm going to be doing some reviews later on this evening. And one, I'm going to be calling my sister Shannon and talking to her and giving her a review of our Texas trip because of this hotel. And I'm pretty sure she doesn't watch this podcast. So we stayed at one, and it was a non-smoking room, and there were cigarette burns on everything.
Everywhere you look,
literally everything in there. You didn't. It's kind of like that American Dad where that they made the bed and breakfast, and so Roger had the bed and breakfast, and the guy left the poop everywhere in the room, and it was even in the pillowcase, right? So it looked like the pillow, but it wasn't. That was this place. There was a cigarette burn on everything that could possibly have a cigarette. Just one, like one on every object. It was bizarre. And there was a lot of questionable contents in places. Like the microwave. Don't know what that was. Didn't use it.
No.
The refrigerator. it was okay for sodas.
Kept our sodas cold. It was clean. It wasn't like, it wasn't dirty when you open it. It was wiped out.
It had an odor. And
that was probably the cleanest thing in the room was the inside of that fridge.
Yeah, and the super odd thing was the furniture was away from the wall like this far, all the way around, except for the bed. So what were they anticipating happening? That's where I was confused, because I can understand a gap like this, for plugs and stuff, but yeah, I don't know what was going on. And there was a door there to the other room, and that was awkward because we could hear everything. And and Carol wants to kill us. Carol. Yeah, okay, so the hotel was in the parking lot of a big liquor store, like a supermarket. So the joke was if Beth needed to, she could go over there and get her drink on. But there was no way she was going to, because there were 2 accidents in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Several times. That was interesting. And
like, holy cow, this is for real happening. Right before my eyes, where's my popcorn?
And there was like a legitimate vending machine, like a regular.
It was so bizarre
not
it was
one of the new type vending machines. It was like an old one. So it was an experience, lesson learned. You did get great advice from Christopher, your half brother, when we were there, and he used to work for Best Western.
Oh yes.
He is now Air Force, by the way. Congratulations on your re-up. So Chris worked for Best Western, and he told you what?
The very bottom you ever want to pay for a room is no less than $60. We paid less than $60.
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah, and we paid for it, right? So
yeah,
it was.
We sure did.
Okay.
Sure did.
So I'm gonna touch on a little something that's really super strange to me.
That was kind of being in the suck together for a little bit.
Oh yeah, we were definitely, and it's not like we hadn't before. I mean, we've been on military housing forever. Like, so we moved around every 2 years and lived in military housing. So we've definitely been in the suck before, but this was a whole new level. It was a whole new Texas level, right? And all we wanted to do was order food, and it was so damn complicated. And I suspect it was complicated because of the area. Yeah. I'm just putting that out there.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, okay. Now, what the hell was I going to talk about? There's going to be something interesting.
I'm just glad that we spent most of the time either at Ellen's house or at the service, because we really weren't only there to sleep.
No, I was not equipped to stay in that room for long. I really wasn't. Where we had to give a cash deposit in addition to our credit card, and then wait for them to check the room to give us the deposit back.
Yeah.
First time that's ever happened to me. But whatever. Is what it is. That was a learning experience, and we did learn. And
at least they didn't have hourly rates.
So I
know about.
Right. Yeah.
Is that like the secret menu?
Yeah, it is.
Don't advertise that.
Yeah, that's a hush-hush kind of thing.
I mean, the place looked like it might have.
So when Toby and Andy were here, Andy and I were talking about a prank that he plays on Toby, which is where he takes those little pop-ums and puts them under the rim of the toilet, so when Toby sits down, they pop. Because Andy's an asshole like me. And I used to do that when my ex and I would go to Texas back and forth when we were traveling, and we'd go to the rest stops. I would do that especially on the metal ones, and you just put the pop-ums underneath it, and so then you can hear it most of the time while you're walking out, because there's usually a line, and so you're walking out and they're walking in, and so you hear it go off and you hear them scream, and it's just funny as hell.
It makes me think of cigarette loads.
Yeah, that's what we talked about too, was the cigarette loads. And we did that to my mom. Do you remember?
We did.
And
Dwayne. Our favorite.
Talk about Dwayne. Talk about that. Because that was your karma when it happened, right?
No,
it was driving your car when the cigarette load went off.
It was too...
Don't get me started.
I pushed one further back so that the person would pop.
And he was like, oh, well, picked it off and kept smoking it. Oh, that was horrible. But karma got you.
Yeah, to go to work that night, so he drove my car. So he could have wrecked it, so I'm glad he didn't.
Right, so your lesson was learned. We used to take my mom's cigarettes and turn one upside down and wait for her to light the filter. And so she did it every single time, too. Because she had a soft pack, she'd take her cigarettes out and flick it out like that and stick it in her mouth and then light it, and it would be the filter. It would be a big flame, and she'd be like, "Damn it!"
I remember seeing her do that a couple of times.
Yeah, that was me flipping it. I made it her lucky cigarette. Yeah, she was so pissed off at me most of the time. It was just my attempt at trying to bring her present with her habit.
She's present with somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Not herself.
So, no. But, I was going to talk about something, and now I don't know. So, Bree came to the support group. We had the support group meeting, and then she had session this past week, and she was texting me today, and she is away from home right now, and she feels homesick, right? So she's ready to get the hell out of there. She wants to go home, and it's just because of who she is. She's young, and misses her things, her way of living, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, and here I'm trying to run away from home all the time. And that really does happen. You realize that you start to mature when you no longer want to go home, but you want to run away from it. Because the older we get, the more knowledge we want to seek before we die. So that's why we kind of get this wanderlust the older we get, to see new things. And if you're living, a wholesome type life, you get that wanderlust, I should say. But some people don't ever get that wanderlust, they just kind of stay stuck where they are. But if you're thriving, the older you get, the more you want to go and see before your time runs out.
Yeah.
And so you have that bucket list. I've got a bucket list, do you?
Yes. We're not doing it.
I'm sure it's recording.
Yeah, it's recording.
Do you have a bucket list, Beth?
Not officially.
Like not an official bucket list?
No.
How come?
Just never made one.
I
I've done a
wanna
lot of
jump
things.
I want to do skydiving.
Nope, not me. I don't want to do skydiving. You can do skydiving. You'll go with her skydiving because that's what you used to do. You used to willingly jump out of airplanes.
You don't get paid to do it. You have to pay them this time.
Yeah. I want to do things like go back to the caves. Like I want to do cave dwelling.
Just spelunking.
That too.
TJ.
I would rather do it descent style. Like I want to do creepy crap. I don't want to do like.
You want to go into
just
an
go and
uncharted
look
cave and not tell anybody where we are?
No, I don't want to be stupid. I want to go look at ones that have stories, not just it's a hole, but I want to have the freedom to kind of look around at said hole, right? Yeah, that's what she said. I tried. I really did. I tried.
I want to travel. I want to go to Tuscany.
Tuscany?
It's my, yes.
What the hell's in Tuscany besides wine?
That's the summer.
Wine.
No, it's a beautiful country.
I'm drinking sort of wine. It's apple juice. Apple cider.
Not even supposed to be wine, but thank you. For sure.
It's fruit and juice.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you know how to make wine?
Like real wine or like jailhouse wine? So you do that with apples.
Yeah, that's why I was asking. Do you know how to make wine? Because I know how to make some cowboy punch.
Yep.
That's what we call it, cowboy punch. So,
Totally Bull Merlot.
what the hell is that? Is somebody dying in there? See, this is why we have Carol, because clearly we can't control our house. Who is it?
Sounds like Rory.
Oh God, what is he doing? Is he shooting darts?
No, I just happened to drop a whole case of squirt in the can. It's okay though.
Did any of
No,
them?
they're fine. They didn't explode. It's okay.
How does that happen?
I
How do
don't
you
know.
drop an entire case and none of them
They got
pop?
lucky.
Talented. It's the Asperger's in them. That's what it is.
Yep, that's it.
Oh, so that's something right there. Something very special. Um, yeah. Okay, I was talking.
This is the picture. It's frozen on, by the way. It looks like you're
In
gonna
my-
fly away or something. Yep.
Oh, it is sort of
Or
cute.
that you're having an attack. One or the other.
I feel like chicken tonight.
I feel like chicken tonight. It's I sort of look like Pat in that pose, right? I look like Pat.
You look like Stuart.
Oh yeah, look what I can do. I do that all the time.
Yeah,
I
see
can
that.
do it. I can do it. I now know. Oh, we were talking about the kids going to the thing in Memphis, right?
Yes.
And so it occurred to me that I have no control anymore over what he does or what they do, right? And so
That's
that freaks me
correct.
out. Oh, Bree is texting me right now. Yeah, right? So hi, Bree, if you're watching. Carol and Beth say she actually said that y'all were so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing.
It's because she doesn't know you.
I would like to check on her more frequently, but I don't want to freak her out.
Oh, I don't think it'll freak her out, but it is a little bit freaky sometimes, right? Like if somebody were just, I mean, think about if it were your kid and somebody's just like randomly,
Hey,
yeah, how are you doing? What are
Okay.
you, yeah. It's like, I can get that, you know. It's one thing when your life coach does it, but it's another thing when your support group,
Yeah.
you know, your entire support group reaches out. Bree's the one I was talking about the support group. Anywho's, what are our plans tonight on date night?
Eat
Stuff we
food.
can actually talk about on here, by the way, because the strip tease that I do on date night is private.
Eat food. And
That's what the scarves
watch
are
bad
for.
TV.
Oh, you know what we should watch? County Law.
Cut it out.
Oh my
I
gosh.
know.
You've
No,
got to
the
admit
fact
that
that
was
I know what
hilarious.
that is now.
We have to post that link, right?
Cut it out.
Carol, you got to post that
You are
link.
in on the
Post that
joke.
link in the comments.
I need to know.
So here's some incentive for you. Join the page so you can read the comments, because Carol is putting this in the comments. She is putting the link to what we just talked about, and it is the funniest show
Yeah,
or
it's
funniest
ridiculous.
clip. And if you know someone like that, enjoy it. And if you don't, recognize that's you. So, because everybody knows somebody that is this ridiculous. And I think that I am county law at this point. I think that I am that person. Because I don't know anyone other than me that would act like that.
When you're 80.
Now,
wasn't
what are
even
you talking
80.
about? Now, because Dad's 80, so everything's
Is that the
80.
picture man?
Yeah, right? It's the picture man. I say shit like that. The proof is I said twas earlier. I didn't mean to. It came out because I can't talk right. You know? And Carol makes fun of me. She's very
I don't even
mean.
know what you're talking
She is
You and your
vicious.
So
britches.
support it.
Oh, did you just bring up the britches? You know what
did.
she told me? This is Carol's big joke. She said, I said, I don't know what britches I should take with me to Texas. And she goes, take all your britches and bring back pants.
It's just a suggestion.
Like, that was some shit, right?
Which is, you're 8 years old. I don't even know what do I look for this. I'm not the one that found it.
Oh, just type in county law.
I did. You'd be surprised by how much shit this
All right, well, we'll figure it out and post it in comments. You should help her, Beth. Send her the link. Get the jigger on your thing.
Get the jigger on your thing.
I do talk like crap, don't I?
You do.
Aunt Sarah, Aunt Donna,
Get your thing
I need y'all to coach me.
out of your britches.
Because
out of your
apparently-
jigger.
Apparently, I talk like shit. And I'm just realizing it. Like, man, have I always sounded this bad? See, you're making me second guess. Not really. I don't give a shit. I tried to, but, you know. Anywho's.
I found it.
Oh, look.
Excellent.
There she goes. She's got it. Post it in the comments. Oh, look at the picture it froze on for
That's
me
even
now.
better.
I know. I kind of like that. Maybe we can do like a whole comic strip of crap like that and caption it. That's good stuff right there. I got a new diffuser for my aromatherapy clients, and it's fantastic.
It is pretty nice.
Yeah, I like it. It's not going right now, but I do like it. But you thought that it was wooden, that it's bamboo. And if you didn't know, Better Homes and Gardens has a diffuser for essential oils that is on clearance at probably your local Walmart. And it looks like it is bamboo, but it's not, or wood, and it's not. It's ceramic. So don't drop it, right? Because I almost dropped it, and you were like, that's okay, it's wood. But it's not. So it almost got broken. What else do we have to talk about? Oh, my clients brought me a coffee. It was a toffee something something dark side. I don't know, but it was a toffee coffee, and I just like really saying that toffee coffee, toffee coffee.
How's your toffee coffee?
Right. It's like maybe baby. Carol, what did we say earlier at my dad that freaked him out? We both said it at the same time.
Oh, he could have that pumpkin stuff.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
Penny